Hi, I am Raven Burns, and this is my channel. I am an occult writer and artist, so I'm sharing my thoughts on things of the occult, which just means hidden or secret or really unconventional knowledge. So today's topic is going to be divination, and the reason why I wanted to talk about divination is because I'm really excited. I got my first set of tarot cards in the mail this past weekend. Got them from Amazon. Don't know what I'm doing yet, okay? But I'm a quick study, and so I'm really looking forward to diving in there. And obviously, I've been on the spiritual path for a long time, and obviously I've come across divination, but never really partook of it. But I wanted to just talk a little bit about what it is, first of all, and why it works. So what it is, divination is just using measures to determine the future or to determine how you should view the present. So there's tea leaves that were used in the past, there's pendulums, there's tarot, there's astrology, there's lots of different modes of divination. Tarot is a popular one, and I'm looking forward to learning more about it. But I wanted to talk about divination in general because it can be controversial. So if you have friends and family members that are of traditional faiths, they almost universally think it's bad. But I wanted to talk about why it works. So it's not magical in the sense that it's mysterious and there's no rational explanation for it. It's basically based on the same principle as the law of attraction. So the law of attraction says that our thoughts are units of energy, and that energy goes out into the world and affects the world around us. So if you're walking around with hateful and nasty thoughts, those thoughts become units of energy, and they tend to attract more things that will keep you in that state of being angry and negative. And so with divination, our thoughts about any particular question are going to be of a particular nature. They're going to carry units of energy. And so that energy affects things around us and influences not the future, but what it does is reveals to us how we're feeling about a certain issue and what our pattern of thought has been up until the current moment. And that habit of thought up until the current moment is what affects the future. So it's not set in stone. It's something that can be changed because our thoughts can be changed. So just like with the law of attraction, if you notice that you are attracting negative things, you don't have to shrug your shoulders and accept that. You can change your thoughts, change your vibration, and thereby create a new future. And so the same with divination. So divination picks up on very subtle things that we're not consciously aware of. And that energy is what tells us this is where you are, and if your thoughts continue and your habit patterns continue as they have thus far, this is what's likely to happen. And that's all it means. Okay, it's not really that mysterious. So the reason I believe why people have said that it's dangerous is multiple reasons. One is that the church historically it was a monopoly. So in any particular land that you live in, especially theocracies or pseudo-theocracies, such as, old Europe was not technically a theocracy, but it operated as one because the Catholic Church was all powerful and there was very little you could do outside of that. And certainly in Muslim nations as well, Jewish nations. So that belief system controls all the institutions under it. So any belief system that varies from that, especially one that says you don't need an intermediary, you don't even need a building, you can, have a relationship with spirit on your own, and in fact you can just commune with nature, that's not going to fly because there's no money in that, and there's no power in that. There's no centralized power in that. It's actually extremely powerful, but it's empowering to the individual, which no government is going to be excited about. So partially it's control. So divination has always been linked with negative things and the devil and these sorts of things. Another thing is, speaking of the devil, is fear. People have, there's several reasons for the fear. One is the fear that what you see is set in stone. So if you come across something you don't want to see, then there's the fear that you're locked into that, and if you're locked into it, you'd rather just not know if it's negative. So as we discussed already, the future is not and never is set in stone. But some aspects of the church have believed in determinism. So that was a prevailing belief system, that everything is basically laid out before you're born. So in that situation, yeah, there really would be no reason to view your future if you can't change it. I mean, why worry about it if it's going to happen anyway? There is another legitimate fear, actually, of becoming too dependent on these things. People who become addicted to knowing every little aspect of the future. They can't make a decision without consulting the stars or the cards or the palm of their hand or whatever. So you don't want it to become a crutch. It's something that can be used as a tool to prepare yourself mentally for something that may be happening, or to change your thoughts, as we discussed before, so that you can change the future. But it's not something to become hooked on, okay? And it's also, the future is not something to control. Yes, we can change the future with our thoughts, but we are not in control of the future. The future happens due to many factors: our actions, the actions of the people around us, the overarching belief systems of the place that we're living. Many factors go into why something happens. So you don't want to become obsessed with the idea of controlling the future either. So all those things are either legitimate or illegitimate concerns about divination, and why it has been controversial. Now, why I don't personally believe it's dangerous is several reasons. One is because, like I said, it's not mysterious. It's reacting to our thoughts and our mental habits and our perceptions. So it's not some spooky thing coming to get us from the outside that we need to be afraid of. It's responding to our own energy, our own thoughts, which create that energy. So what transpires from that comes from us. It's not something to be afraid of. It's something that exists anyway. Whether you use the tarot or not, those thoughts are creating units of mental energy. So whether you use that and look at the future or don't look at the future, it's still happening. So I would rather know what it is so that I can do something about it. Another reason why I don't think it's dangerous is that everything that we do, including divination, is based on our intent. So if your intent is simply to have a deeper understanding of where you're at and where you're currently heading, if nothing changes, then that's a very healthy view of divination. It's not something to become obsessed with. It's something that just gives you a little bit more insight into what you're going through, because we're so caught up in things outside of ourselves, our jobs and time and people's demands, that sometimes we need a little bit, our subconscious gets pushed so far down that we get shut off from our own intuition. So doing something like divination allows us to take a step back and to tap into our subconscious to see, okay, where do I really stand and where am I going if things don't change? And not only that, as we discuss further, it's not set in stone, so there is nothing to be worried about. But ultimately, the key thing to remember with divination, as excited as I am about it, and I can't wait to dive in there, and I did a little reading for myself. I'm going to see how it plays out before I say anything about it. But ultimately, natural measures are the place to really focus on. So some of the popular spells are protection spells, money spells, love spells. All of these are great. And all of these are great as far as looking into the future and seeing where you stand. But if you want more money, the best thing to do is to gain a skill, become very good at it, and figure out a way to market it. If you want love, the best way is to be fully yourself and to be kind to people and to be open to people that could potentially be mates. If you want protection, the best thing to do is to be careful and to raise your vibration so that you're not attracting dangerous and negative people so much. So start with the natural always, but divination is not something to fear. And lastly, take it all with a grain of salt. Regardless of what the cards or whatever form of divination you're using says, it's not, I mean, even if the death card is revealed, it's not life or death. It's a tool. So, and natural means matter most, as I said. So whatever you find in divination, take it as one form of information, not as the end all and the be all. What you do in every present moment of your life is what's going to shape your future. And divination is just a tool to help you get there. So that's it. Let me know your thoughts. If you like this video at all, give it a thumbs up, please. And just leaving you with the idea that you absolutely matter. You are beloved of spirit. You are necessary. So go in love, return in love, and blessed be. Peace.